Welcome back, everybody. Tyler Parsons here again. Today we're doing something a little bit different. You're either going to like it or hate it. If you hate it, skip to the next video because this is a two-part series. All right, and this is going to do a couple of things for us. One, we're going to fix some of the issues that I know that you probably have. That way we can help get over to the performance piece, the speed, the power, just overall better performance, if you will. It's also going to make me have to film 2 in a row. That way you're not lacking and waiting on me to help out, okay? So go on, get that warm-up started. Today we'll be looking at some corrective movements with the posture and freeing up a couple of areas to, again, just help you move better. That way we can get to that performance piece and know exactly where we stand. All right, first piece. I know a lot of you are going to be sitting at your desk, staring down at our phones, what have you, and we have this awful posture going on, okay? Shoulders rounded forward, upper thoracic spine and neck are going to be down. This is bad because whenever it goes to set up to our golf ball, we're still going to be slouched. I call it the old man posture. It's getting more and more common, obviously, among younger people now. But it's really going to limit how we can turn, or if you're that person that likes to be able to turn more, you can see that I stood up. Both are big no-nos, okay? One, we're going to be inconsistent with the swing, with the shot, but it's really going to limit, again, that speed and power, which I know that you're sort of looking for. So we want to be able to stay in that posture and get a very nice big turn while loading. Bunch of different ways to tackle this, okay? One of my favorite is just to go on and grab those arms, and you can see as I even open up my own chest there, pull the shoulders back, and then sort of, you can lean into it a little bit, but raise those hands and see where you can get to. A little bit more advanced is to go down and lift up the hands. That sort of shifts away from the posture a little bit, more towards the shoulders. So if you do have shoulder problems, be careful with this one. A little easier thing to do is just free with the hands, looking up and back, and seeing how far back you can pull those arms while you're sort of arching that back. So 2 different variations there to really help it. As you sit there and hold each one of those for 5 seconds, you're going to feel some tightness in some areas being stretched out, and that's a good thing. That's what we're looking for, help improve. More importantly, throughout the day, be more aware of that posture. And this is something that, again, if you're just standing up in your office and doing that a couple times throughout the day, it's going to make a big difference to help you learn to improve that posture, but then to rotate properly. All right, number 2. We're going to be looking at these lower traps down and through here, all right? The lower traps are going to be responsible for the lifting motion of your hand, okay? And you can see mine's out to the side right now. We actually want it to be able to lift from here. How's this important for golf? Couple of things. One, as we turn, where can this hand sort of get to? And this goes hand in hand with our next piece, okay? But also with our shoulder plane. So a little bit of repeat here. As we turn, depending on what you're working on, depends on where we sort of want this shoulder plane to be, whether it be too steep or too flat. But if those traps are tight, we're going to see a lot of that standing up to where it points out, which again, we don't really want, okay? Because that causes the whole plane to have to shift, and it's like a wobbly bike wheel as it's spinning, okay? And we know those can't spin fast. So we want to improve that. Again, we'll go with the simple one first. What I want you to do, I'll move in closer for you to see here. I'm just gonna cross my hands here, and they're gonna go behind, take that off. It's going behind my head, okay? I'm going to push my elbows back as far as I can, and I'm going to start to look up, and I'm going to continue to push and look up while pushing those elbows back. Same thing, we're going to feel a little bit of tightness in through the shoulders, opening up that chest, but you're really going to start to feel a lot of activation in those muscles back there, and that's what we're looking for. It's more activation than it is a stretch, all right? Those muscles typically are shut off, and we ask for a secondary muscle to do its job, and we don't want that. So go on, do that one. Another great one that I think you can do throughout the day While we're improving our posture here, we can turn around and activate those because we're only looking at 3 to 5 seconds. This next piece is looking at the lat. Okay, so our big beefy muscle that gives us that V shape if we work it out often enough. The reason for golf, again, any tightness in through here is going to limit sort of where we can get our hands to. We know that we want our hands to be nice and high. We don't have a big breakdown necessarily. But if we're tight in through here, we're going to see all sorts of issues starting to pop up whenever we try to do that. So we want to stretch those out. You can use a ball. I don't have a ball in front of me, so I'm going to show you just a quick and easy way. It takes a little bit of work, but you have to sort of learn, and you can see that I'm sort of pulling on this arm, and I'm trying to create a nice big C. A lot of times what I see with everybody is they try to keep it straight. I want that body to bend, okay? And I'm already starting to feel down through here, all the way up, and even bigger stretch in here, and just sort of holding, okay? Just for a few seconds, but really starting to get that. Now, one of the reasons that I like to do it the way I just showed you is that I'm creating that bend in the spine. So I'm keeping it nice and mobile because I'm working in through here as well. So if I go down just on a ball, yes, I'm going through that, but I don't have that muscle activation. And muscle activation is key. It's not always about just improving the range of motion. I have to turn around and be able to get the body to respond to that movement as well, okay? So another great variation to help out with those lats. All right, so this last piece, we're sort of working our way down. We're going to hit the hips. Now, I know a lot of you guys have a lot of internal hip rotation. Some of you even have some external issues. The majority of you as well are going to have hip flexors. So this is a multi-part. I'm throwing a bunch at you, pretty quick here. We're just going to do a standard hip flexor. What we want to look for is trying to create the biggest angle in through here. So if you're the guy that sort of leans into this, you're probably not going to feel a whole lot. Versus if I go here, I can actually give it a little twist and lean back. And now I'm elongating that muscle even more, getting a bigger stretch. Okay, same thing, hold for a few. We can then go out to the side a little bit to where we're working that inner thigh. And what we're trying to do here is I have to loosen it up and then again activate in all these different areas, all right? So once we're done with that, we can go into where I'm just leaning down and into this, and then I'm going to go out to the side. I'm trying to improve the range of motion on how high this knee can get on my chest, but I'm trying to drop my whole body and not just bend down, okay? So getting that in through here, we can then kick it out to the side a little bit more, and these are great to really help out with those hips, okay? Again, a lot of you don't understand the importance of the hips. I'm going to take this one down out to the side still. And as I'm going out to this side, again, one of the huge reasons I love this is I have a twist and I'm down, so I'm feeling a stretch into my low back as well as that outer hip. But those are a couple of great variations on some simple stretches you can do. So the importance of those hips. Oh boy, it's hard to even think of where to begin to try to break this down for you, but limited internal external rotation is going to limit how you turn in through the hips, okay? So as I turn back, I'm internally, I've got my external. It's going to depend on how I shift my weight, how I'm able to actually load. So just because I shift it over to this right foot doesn't mean I have the tightness where I need it to be able to drive and push off, all right? And we know ground force being so important, but basically we need that. And then as well as that nice little whip effect, being able to move. So it's going to make it hard for me to disassociate and to separate this as well as do it quickly if my hips are going to be limited and don't really want to move that way. So some extremely good posture improving, hip improving, just overall performance. Make sure you take the time to do this. The more the better. There's no real set amount that you should or shouldn't be doing it. Sky's the limit, so get started on that. Check out the next piece. We're going to be looking at some power producing movements on what we can do to build off of what I just showed you.